Ladies and gentlemen, if you guessed that we are back with another one, you were right, because today we got a little scene. You see this? A little change of scenery. You know, you can't always have the same place. So I decided today the video is going to be a little different. Instead of doing it about a BMW, and I'm pretty sure maybe some of you are sick of seeing the BMW just as much as I am. So I figured let's get into the Honda Grom. So if you don't know what a Honda Grom is, I will explain it today. You will get to learn a little bit about it. And if you are thinking about being a first-time motorcycle owner because gas prices are through the roof, the Honda Grom might be this, correct option for you. So if it is, hopefully this video will help you. And in this video, I'll be able to tell you guys a couple reasons why I think the Honda Grom is the greatest motorcycle ever made, not just by Honda, but ever. And believe me, I've owned enough motorcycles to test them, to test a few. I've owned street bikes, cruisers, everything, and the Honda Grom is just pretty much on top of the list. So let's get right into it. Let's check it out and let's go. So this is my 2014 Honda Grom. Now, if you don't know about these things, this is a great starter bike. And if you are an advanced rider, we'll get into that after, but it's also a great selection for you as well. So this thing is a 2014, like I said, and this is the first year the Honda Groms were made. Now, if you've never owned a motorcycle, if you've never ridden a motorcycle, if you are trying to get into it, this is probably going to be your best choice. Now, let's get into a few reasons why. First, affordability. So brand new, not this year, not the 2014, brand new 2022, these things MSRP at like $3,399. We'll just call it $3,400, whatever, but that's what they MSRP at. So if you do want to purchase it brand new, 0 miles, you don't want anyone putting all these dents and marks and shit that I got on mine, if you don't want any of that, it's going to cost you $3,400. Now registration, tax, all the other good stuff, especially if you live in Connecticut, it's going to come out to like $4,000. Which, at the end of the day, if you think about it, for a motorcycle, for a first-time bike, $4,000 is not that bad, honestly. And if you think about it, $4,000, and if, God forbid, something does happen, you drop it, you get a lot of scratches on it, this, that, $4,000 is not going to hurt you as bad as, I don't know, going out and purchasing a brand new Harley or a brand new, street bike or something like that. So the affordability is probably right now one of the greatest things. If you are going to buy used like I did, I ended up purchasing this thing for $1,500, which I know it sounds like a great deal. However, it was crashed when I bought it. So those marks that you see on it, those weren't there. I put those marks myself. Those are experienced marks. But I bought this thing for $1,500. It was something that the guy, I guess, I don't know, he bought it for his girl and she dropped it. He said she just dropped it at like a red light, and then next thing you know, it had like a broken turn signal, had a few scratches on the exhaust, and $1,500 later, we're here. So if you are going to buy these things used, you could save a little bit of money. Right now, the market on them is insane. There's literally, if you go to like, I don't know, your local dealer, try to get one, you're probably going to have to order it just because everyone's buying one. So that's the only part that sucks about these things. However, if you do buy used, you're probably going to honestly spend just as much. But right now on the market, as the way it sits right now, and I'm talking like 2017 and up. Those are the years with the brand new headlights. They did a little facelift on them. And it's probably going to cost you like right around $2,500 to $3,000, which you're still saving money. So if you are trying to learn how to ride a motorcycle, $2,500 to $3,000 is probably your best bet, right? Reason number 2 to buy this thing. Now, gas mileage right now is probably one of the most important things, especially if you're watching this video. I know you're either a car guy or you're trying to get into a motorcycle, so I know you're trying to save money on gas, and I know gas prices are through the roof. It is insane. So let's talk about it. This thing right now, the 2014 is a little bit smaller than the 2022 tanks. This tank is 1.45 gallons, so we'll just say a gallon and a half. So this thing gets a gallon and a half of gas, right? Now, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, so you're saying, well, what the hell am I going to do with a gallon and a half of gas? The thing is, this thing on a gallon and a half of gas goes just about 100 miles. So if you think, I think it's like 105 miles on that one little, 1.5 gallon. So if you think about it, you're literally saving, and you could put 87 in this thing. It doesn't have to be 93. You don't have to be all fancy, Mr. Expensive gas, go put diesel, whatever. You don't have to do none of that. So right now in Connecticut, with gas being, I don't know, $4.50, right? You're putting literally $4.50 to travel 100 miles. With the weather being this beautiful, you could travel 100 miles on $4.50. So if you ask me, that is amazing. And I'm telling you that as someone who drives a pickup truck normally, and it is a gas guzzler, this thing is a lifesaver. So if you are trying to save a few bucks on gas and you're thinking, hey, listen, for this summer, I'll purchase a motorcycle, and you know what? I'll buy something that I could just, you know, buy for cheap. That way I can save on gas. I don't have to drive my gas guzzler, or you drive, you know, a pickup truck, or you drive something diesel, you drive a car that just sucks on gas. I don't know, you got like a V8 with a blower, I don't know. But this might be the purchase for you. So let's get into number 3. The customization on these things. You could, you know, I already have a few things already added to mine. I don't want to get into too much onto what I have done, unless that's kind of a video you guys would want to see. But on the Honda Grom, just about everything is customizable. And I mean, like, I have aftermarket handlebars. You see the seat, the bars, everything else, the exhaust. You can literally customize everything on these things. And I mean, like, you could change the fairing colors, you could change the headlights, you could tail lights, turn signals. Anything that's on this bike is customizable. So, and there's so many options, so many websites that, you know, make it just so easy to buy parts for these things, that if you are someone who, you know, decides, hey, listen, I'm gonna buy a bike and I want to kind of customize it to make it my own, just like I did, then this would be the option for you. And the parts for these things are honestly so cheap. And I mean, like, yes, some parts are expensive. The seat I bought for like $100, but it's probably, honestly, and then just like the 12 o'clock bar, just because I set mine up for like stunting, that's probably the most expensive thing on this thing. However, if you didn't want to purchase all those, so everything else is not too bad. And I just love customization. I feel like if you do have one, you can make it your own. And there's so many options. You could literally, so I have just regular like handlebars. So these come with the stock. This pretty much looks like the stock handlebars anyway. I just got pro tapers because they're a lot stronger. However, you can literally set up street bike handlebars. So if you want to, you know, they have like the little angled and just exactly what a street bike handlebars are. Imagine that. You can set it up and put them on here. So I think that for customization reasons, if you are buying something that you want to make your own and you want to have your own little toy, this is the option for you. So that leaves us at option 3. Now let's get into option number, let's get into reason. Let's get into reason number 4, why the Grom is the right option for you. So reason number 4, you've never ridden a motorcycle before. You are thinking, hey, listen, this summer it is hot, the gas prices are insane, I want to be on 2 wheels, forget the 4 wheels, get rid of the windshields, get rid of everything, let's buy 2 wheels. So why is the Grom the best option for you? This Grom is super light. So this weighs somewhere around like 400 pounds, which is pretty much nothing for a motorcycle if you think about it. And the thing being is that you can literally bring this anywhere. It's so small, it's petite. You could just store, if you don't have a lot of storage at home, you could store it. And now if you've never ridden a motorcycle, this will help you with all the concepts. So you want to learn throttle control, you want to learn clutching, you know, obviously the gearing on these things is 4 gears. So it goes 1 down, 3 up. And it's just exactly like a normal motorcycle. However, obviously most motorcycles are 5 gears, this, that. But if you do want to learn how to ride, this is the option for you. It's so light. So if you do want to get into like cornering, or you want to get into the concept of leaning to the side, which is pretty much the most important thing that you could do on a motorcycle. So this is the option for you. It's super light, and I mean, it's very easily maneuverable. And I'm telling you, someone I've been riding for years. I purchased this thing, and I'm telling you, I would never go back on it. So if you are trying to learn, I feel like this might be the right option for you. Now on these are 125cc. So these are either, you know, Honda Grom 125cc or MSX 125. So this being 125cc, these are forgiving. Now, if you've ever ridden a street bike or you've never ridden a motorcycle at all, if you buy a street bike or you buy a Harley, there are 2 downfalls to those. Street bikes are not forgiving. Now, what I mean by that is I don't mean the V-twin street bikes, because yes, those are very forgiving. But if you buy a true street bike, you buy a 600, 750, or 1000, those bikes do not forgive. So you give too much throttle on those and you decide, hey, listen, I'm going to dump the clutch and just see what happens. That bike is not going to forgive you. That street bike will get out of your ass, and that thing will be, hey, listen, I'm going down the road. I'll see you later. So if you are learning how to ride and you're worried about falling, you're worried about first gear, which is just about everyone's problem when they first start to learn how to ride, this might be the option for you, because this, yes, it sounds terrible, but it is underpowered. So it is underpowered, but that, yes, it sounds terrible, but that is kind of what makes it great, because if you are trying to learn, you want something underpowered. You don't want something with a lot of power. That way, next thing you know, you're whiskey throttling and the bike's flying and you're going to the ground. You do not want that. So, like I said, the street bikes are not forgiving. And if you do purchase a Harley because you're saying, hey, listen, street bikes are not forgiving, let me get a Harley and maybe that'll be a little bit better. The problem with Harleys is that Harleys are super heavy. Now, the Grom is not heavy like I just explained to you. So if you do buy a Harley and you're trying to learn, and like I said, leaning is very important on these things, The Harley, if you do drop it, God forbid, let's say you lean to the side too much, it falls over, or you put the kickstand some way wrong, and next thing you know, you're on the ground. Picking up a Harley is not easy. This thing you can literally pick up with one hand, close your eyes, you know, pick it up with your foot. I don't know. But if you are trying to learn, this is your first motorcycle, this is probably your best bet. Now, let's get into reason number 5 as to why this is the best purchase of all time. Now, reason number 5 as to why I should purchase the Honda Grom, or why you should purchase the Honda Grom, is because these things are durable, which is probably the number one thing that I love about this thing. Now, what I mean by durability is, if you look at mine, like I said, it's got experience years on it. Look at this thing. Yeah, so it's seen the ground a little more than it should have, but at the end of the day, every time I've dropped it, it's gotten up and it's, you know, been able to ride out. I literally dropped it maybe 3-4 times. It just gets right back up. You just start it, it'll go, unless the engine has fallen off, you will be riding this thing home. I promise you that. So the reason why I would recommend this thing is because if you buy a Harley or a street bike, usually what happens is the fairings you kind of go, unless you have like crash bars and whatnot. However, this thing, look at it. Like I've literally looped this thing and the headlight still good. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but it's still good. So if you're trying to buy something durable because you're worried about falling or you're worried about crashing, which hopefully you're not, however, it's always an option. And when you do have a motorcycle, it's not if, it's when. And I promise you, if you've ridden long enough and you're an advanced rider, you know just as much as I do that at some point in your life, you will either drop it, fall, something will happen, God forbid, but it will. And that's exactly what happened to this. I obviously, like I said, I do stunt it. So from wheeling and whatnot, this is kind of what happens. So if you're not like me, maybe you don't wheelie, this will maybe never happen to you. But if it does, and you know, God forbid someone comes out in front of you, you drop it, this thing will not leave you stranded. So if you purchase, like I said, a Harley, everything's going to be very expensive to do. And if you do drop it, it's probably going to start leaking. I mean, they leak before you even drop it anyway. It's a Harley, but this thing doesn't have any issues. I've dropped this thing 4 times. Literally, look at the engine. Not a single issue. No leaks, no brakes, nothing. I haven't had to replace anything on this thing after dropping it 3-4 times. So durability, this is literally a 10 out of 10. So Honda, thank you for making something that doesn't break. I don't know if you guys just made this thing out of titanium or if just, you know, Superman put it together himself, but this thing does not break. So that is probably the, you know, number one reason to purchase one of these. Now, hopefully now that I've given you all of the reasons why you should purchase one of these, maybe that kind of helps you. If you have any questions, I could probably, you know, answer it. I've had this thing for a little while now, and it's been a few years. And I'm telling you, I've ridden this, I've ridden the new one, the 2022, I've ridden the Honda Monkey, which if you don't know what that is, check out the Honda Monkey. So if you're looking for something a little bit more comfortable and you don't want to be in such an upright sitting position, the Honda Monkey might be the thing for you. The seat on the Monkey is like padded like this. And if you guys do want to see the Honda Monkey, I do have a friend with a brand new one. So, I mean, I kind of do a video on that as well. But check that out. And I hope you guys understand why I think that this, as a first timer, is the greatest purchase you can make. Now let's get into why, if you are advanced, this is the thing for you. If you're like me and you've purchased just about every bike you can, you've had street bikes, you've had cruisers, I don't know, you've had crossovers, whatever, just you've ridden dirt bikes, moto, just everything, enduros, I've ridden them all, and this at the end of the day is still my number one option. So as being an advanced rider, like I said, I do like to stunt it. I like wheeling in it. I like doing endos. This is literally the greatest. So I have a Harley now, and you know, my dad's also got a Harley, so I ride that. I got a Sportster, we got a V-Rod, and before this I had a Honda CBR. This is, yes, it's slow. Well, I mean, that's kind of the reality of it. However, because it's so small and nimble, you can just take it out, you just get on, start it, go. And if you do like exploring, this is the thing, because you can go anywhere with this thing. Obviously we're on a dead street right now. However, if you do like going places and most of the time you can't bring your Harley or your street bike into, like, you know, tight spots, this you could literally just get on the curb. If you do want to go somewhere small, you know, get on the curb and go, and no one's going to question you, because when people see this thing, they assume it is a scooter. Now, half the time people think that this is something you don't even have to register. However, it is. And I don't know if it's like that in your state. However, in Connecticut, because it is over 49 cc's, we have to register it, hence the plate on there. So that's kind of the only downfall to this thing, that we have to register it. But I don't mind, because everything is so cheap for these things, like insurance and all the other good stuff. But being able to adventure with this thing, I will choose this thing over my Harleys and street bikes any given time. Now, if I'm going on a long ride, obviously this thing is not going to be the number one option, because the max speed you're probably going to be able to do on this thing, me being, you know, 5'9" at like 210, this thing maxed out at like 60. So, and 60 is not bad. If you really think about it, you're doing 60. That's literally faster than most, you know, towns. And you could even get on the highway, honestly. And I get on the highway, if you're an advanced rider like me, which I don't recommend it for a first-time rider. So if you are a first-time rider, do not get on the highway. And if you, I don't know, maybe you got the balls to do it, then do it. And who am I to tell you? However, if you are an advanced rider, I know you don't give a shit. Neither do I. So I get on the highway with this thing and I'll rip it. So this thing will be doing 63 to like 65 maxed out at like rev limiter things, like wham, bang, 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 and it's still going. So look, I mean, we haven't blown it up yet. And it goes highway speeds, which is insane to think about, because something so small being at highway speeds next to like all those trucks that are passing by, that's the reason why I wouldn't recommend getting on the highway, just because it's so small and you're going next to an 18-wheeler, which pretty much you're literally the size of his wheel. But if you do, God bless you, you know, welcome to the crew, I guess. But that's kind of it. So, I mean, I just wanted to show you guys the Honda Grom and the reasons why I think that this would be the number one option. You know, I wanted to give you guys a few reasons why this is a great bike, and why it is a great first-timer bike, why it is a great advanced bike. And yeah, so those are those reasons. Oh, one more thing. If you're advanced and you're trying to get into wheeling, right? You want to learn how to wheelie. You've never wheelied before. You're saying, hey, listen, this might be the time for me. This is the bike for you. I'm telling you right now, this is what I learned to wheelie on, and I wheelie my Harley now, and it's just literally, this is just your best option. So if you do loop it, you know, you're not too worried about how much it's going to cost, and you know how much it's going to be to fix it. And this thing, it just clutch control will be your number one friend on this thing, because it's so underpowered that you're gonna have to give a lot of gas, dump the clutch. You'll be able to learn, you know, the brake. So obviously the brake is your best friend when you're wheeling. So you'll be able to learn all the fundamentals on this thing, and then bring it over to whatever bike you're using it on. And I'm telling you, after learning on here, I've been able to wheelie street bikes, Harleys, and it's just, you know, it's the whole, this is a door opener, I guess. But that's kind of that. Okay, so this is the wrap up for that video, and I hope you guys liked it. Like I said, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the Grom, get kind of away from the BMW stuff. But I hope you liked it. I hope the video finds you good. But before I go, I want to show you guys something. So we ended up ordering shirts. In the front says TPB, Turkish Party Boy, and the back we've got, and we are back with another one. So if you do want one of these shirts, let me know in the comments, and just hit me up on Instagram, message me there. That way you can let me know where to send it, and you know, I'll hook you up with a shirt. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, at least we tried. So make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, all the other good stuff, and see you on the next one.